Friday. It's Black Friday when we're recording today. Are you getting the deals? Are you out there? Are you shopping for deals? Are you hunting down deals? Are you looking for deals?
No, I can't because my 4K TV and my PS5 wiped me out.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, where it was like, oh, hey, look, here's a cheap motherboard. Here's a cheap processor. And I'm like, I spent $1,000 on consoles this month. Like, I did it.
$1,200,
yeah,
I think, overall, because of the TV, the PS5, the controller, and then the game with it. Like, I went super spendy nuts today.
Okay.
Not today, but this past month or two.
I was trying to do the mental math on that 4K. There's a $500 4K TV, somewhere around there?
$500 4K TV. $521, just $20 shy of the PS5's cost.
Okay. How are you enjoying the land of 4K? You've now been blessed into the promised land up here on Mount Olympus.
I can't go back. Like, as soon as I saw it, because I had to download Spider-Man again to for a specific thing that we're supposed to talk about later. Mm-hmm. So I decided to see what it looked like on my Sony and then my PS5, or my PS4 and then my PS5. It's like night and day, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't go back to load times, and I can't go back to not super great televisions.
There you go. And you know what else? You can't go back to not listening to the Rage Select podcast right here on Rage Select. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mike.
And I forgot to make the intro happen sooner. Normally I would have tried to make it happen sooner. I'm sorry. That was a little awkward. I've been working on my segues. That's not true.
People can't see it, but my old TV is behind me.
Oh.
I connected a Super Nintendo to it.
So yeah, it's funny. Matt and I recorded that Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity last week, and it started up, and it took like 45 seconds to load, and I was just like, what is this? What am I, made in time? Come on.
It's weird. I keep pulling out my phone like in the middle of when I think it's about to load, because, that's what I used to use my time with that. No, it just happens. Like, I have the Mortal Kombat 11 upgrade. It's like, choose the fighters, the stage, and then just a second later it says fight.
Yep.
And then you're just in it.
Yep. Yeah, it is difficult to go back. So, well, you mostly, I think I already know the answer to this question, but have you done anything but play Spider-Man on your 4K TV? Did Astro Rescue, Bug Snacks?
I played Mortal Kombat on it for a bit.
Okay, all right.
And it looks fucking gorgeous. Because I bought the Rambo pack and stuff before I bought the TV. And so I had all those characters, and I wanted to fuck around with them for a bit.
I am a little disappointed in the fact that Melina doesn't seem nearly as broken as she usually is in Mortal Kombat.
I noticed.
She seems like a reasonable character that I cannot use to grief people until they throw a controller and it breaks on my floor. And that's
I hear that Rambo is a little more broken than she is.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I didn't have very much of a Thanksgiving because I've been in a little bit of a quarantine situation this week that we're not going into specifics about. But so I cooked a steak, and I had a steak and potatoes and roasted Brussels sprouts, and it was very good. You had actual Thanksgiving turkey.
I did. My brother, he cooked a couple turkeys because he called me 2 days before Thanksgiving. And he asked if I was going to go to the Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm just like, have you seen the state of the world outside? I'm not leaving this apartment kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And because he lives in Buda, and he was like, okay, fine. And then so apparently my parents also don't want to go. Like, basically none of my family, all my family made the same decision as me. So he's like, well, fuck you guys. I'm gonna deliver you food because I'm cooking this shit. And so he cooked all this food. And then he bought a bunch of like containers from a restaurant and surplus store, and then dropped them off at my brother's and my parents. And then he dropped mine off to my oldest brother who lives in South Austin, who then drove up here to drop it off. And I fucking inhaled that food. You got your Thanksgiving dinner death stranded to you? I did. From my own brother, of all people.
You had to walk up, you had to turn on the hologram in the front of your apartment and be like, yep, put it in the box.
You made it. It's quirker time.
The turkey in the box.
How do you survive out there?
No, I will not get on Parlor. Put the turkey in the box. I'm not going to join the network.
How's Conan O'Brien doing? Is he still alive?
Oh God, I forgot about that shit. How could I forget that Conan O'Brien was in that game?
Maybe the otter thing.
Oh yeah, the little otter hat that you.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about Death Stranding the other day about like whether it had any upgrades or whether it just loaded slightly faster on the PS5, and I'm pretty sure it just loads slightly faster. But I don't know if I want to play Death Stranding. Last year, Death Stranding was an interesting philosophical notion about what it's like when we're all separated and we only ever talk to each other over like some kind of cyber network, but nobody ever sees each other in person. And now I'm just like, no.
Well, that's the issue with it, and then the second half of Spider-Man. Because the second half of Spider-Man is just like, there's a disease killing everyone, and you're just like, oh geez, the escapism isn't here right now.
Yeah. So outside of Spider-Man and Mortal Kombat, not much on your new TV. Well,
I watched.
Tell the people at home what brand TV it is, like which model it is, in case they want.
It was a Vizio Series M, something like that.
Okay,
it's a 55-inch Vizio. It's a smart television, so it's got all these apps and stuff on it the same way, somewhat that yours does. It plays, for the most part, certain video files on it, because I discovered it does do a USB thing too, but it's sort of about 50-50 with some of the videos I have.
Okay.
Well, it's a really nice television. It's very lightweight. It came with these two little pieces to connect to the bottom that you screw in for the stand, because otherwise it's designed for mounting, I guess.
Yeah.
It's really nice, yeah. I need to get a sound bar or something to attach to it. Because my brother was like, "Do you have a sound bar?" I'm like, "No, but I've considered one for a while, so I may get one of those eventually." But yeah, I used it to watch some stuff because I watched The Mandalorian and DuckTales and all that stuff in 4K essentially, as well as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I also watched Spider-Man. Both it and the Into the Spider-Verse, because I have this 4K version of the Spider-Verse movie.
Oh my God, I just realized something. Michael, I just realized something. It totally worked. So Sony got you. Like, you got the next-gen console, and then you were like, man, I need this. I need to upgrade. I need a better TV. I should buy the Sony TV to go with my Sony box. And
see, if I had Sony TV money, I would have done it, but Sony is still really expensive.
Yeah.
But I used it for a lot of other Sony related things when you think about it.
Oh man.
But they really did trick me into the fact that it's like, oh, your TV just isn't up to snuff for the PS5. Like, your PS5 is sad because it doesn't like your TV kind of thing. It's like, well, I need to make my PS5 happy with 4K. So
they should have those little Astrobots come out and be really sad on your desktop, like one of those desktop strippers that you install. Like, one of the little Astrobots just comes out and that just pulls up 1080p on your screen, and he points at it and he's like, meow.
I'm sad. Why don't you buy a 4K TV?
And then it just,
you spent the money for it.
It just opens a web page to Sony's 4K
Sony televisions.
Yeah, super overpriced 4K TVs. Yeah, I was kind of going through something similar where I was looking at I was thinking about monitors. I was looking at these cheap monitors that were on sale for Black Friday, and I'm like, oh shit, these are like 120 hertz, 1440p, like, I could plug like an Xbox into that. And then it's like, right, but then if I wanted my PC to do that, then I would have to upgrade my motherboard, my processor, my memory, and then somehow pray to the shitty scalp gods for a fucking 3070, which like, I just no.
It's funny because we're treating them like as if they're like Toy Story toys, that they come to life when we're not paying attention, and they're just sad about us not having the best stuff for them.
I gotta tell you, I've worked in the computer industry, and I've dealt with like PCs and hardware and stuff my entire life. I have no like, what do they call that? When you anthropomorphize like a piece of hardware, like, oh, my computer's sad, and I'm like, fuck my computer's feelings, but I don't care about my computer's feelings. Like, You should have seen when I worked at a laptop store, the way I would manhandle people's laptops, throw them places. Yeah. I don't give a shit. I'm mad that my PlayStation 5 spins up the CD drive once an hour for no good reason.
Yeah, I heard about that. I never really noticed it, I guess.
Do you have a CD in there?
Yeah, because well, actually, I guess I don't recently.
Yeah. I have the Doom Eternal CD in there for when Amanda and I finally get back to playing that, and it's just like every hour I'm just sitting here not doing anything. PlayStation 5's just sitting on the console, and it just and then it turns off. So
yeah, I think I had Miles Morales in there for a little bit after. It was right after I bought the 4K TV, so I could see what that looked like on mine, and then I played it for like 20 minutes.
Well, welcome to the future again, Michael.
It's nice. It's real nice. It wiped me the fuck out financially, at least until my next check. But man, it's nice to feel like I could spend that money and not feel completely trapped, I guess,
and not have to eat ramen for like 2 months.
Yeah, luckily I did everything I did prior to getting that, so I'd already done my grocery shopping for the most part, and I paid all my bills. And so once I was done, I had like $600 left over. And then I called my brother and I'm like, yeah, I'm looking into getting a 4K TV. And then he like salesman pitched me into all of the fancy things, like a car salesman, going, oh, you need the HDR and maybe the HDR 10 plus, but all of those were too expensive. I was like, you need this. Like, there were so many things he said that I didn't understand. And I was just like, sure, whatever. I'm trusting you on this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Before I knew it, I spent $520 on a television.
Well, at least Cyberpunk 2077 will look really good on it.
Oh, it's going to look amazing.
Speaking of which, Cyberpunk 2077 is already out in the wild, ladies and gentlemen. And by the time you hear this, we will still have, I believe it'll be like a week, 2 weeks, like a week and a half.
Yeah, it's pretty soon.
2 weeks. We'll have 2 weeks as of hearing this roundabouts left until it gets out there. But they're already in the wild. We've had some footage. It appears that CD Projekt Red has been like really good about kind of taking footage down.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they've been there's like a few people out there who have shown kind of some like taken some pictures of the actual game, like the game box and everything like that. And then there were a couple people who tried to stream, and they were able to stream for a little while, but they appear to be locking that shit down. I think it's funny because there are two things about this game. One, I get the impression. Well, there was a story last week that one of the developers of this game has been playing it for 175 hours and isn't done with it yet.
Jesus.
So, like, one, the question of whether you can even spoil this game I don't even know. I don't know whether you could spoil this game or not. And
well, based on everything they've shown, it's like, is it even possible to spoil it based on the sheer amount of different fucking choices they seem to have said that you can do? I
don't even know. And then second, I think it's interesting that like maybe it's only been a couple of days, but I don't know. Michael, sometimes I run around the like dingier parts of the internet, and I remember when The Last of Us 2 got leaked out there and people were taking down streams of it, and they were just like, YouTube censorship, taking down these Last of Us 2 streams, and I haven't seen anybody be like mad that they can't see leaked 2077 footage.
There were a lot of people who wanted Last of Us 2 to fail really hard.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to make fun of the story as much as they could. And but with Cyberpunk, everybody's been waiting for so long that they're just like, shoot the heretics.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I still am curious because like after I don't know, did you watch last week's Night City dive?
No, I was going to, but I kept playing Spider-Man.
That's legit.
I can't stop.
That's legit. No, that's legit. I beat Demon Souls today, so it's fine. But last week they were, they've laid out kind of like what happens at the beginning of the story pretty well. But man, if you can play this game for 175 hours, it would be like if somebody wanted to spoil The Witcher 3 or if I wanted to spoil the end, like I'm getting pretty close to the end of Yakuza Like a Dragon, and if I wanted to spoil Yakuza Like a Dragon, the first thing I'd have to do is spend 40 minutes explaining the clan structure of the fucking Tokyo Yakuza to you and 5 years of history inside of the game before I could start spoiling what happened after that. So I think this is one of those games where like there isn't just like a big twisty reveal, so there's probably not a good way to actually spoil it for people.
Yeah, the way it's designed, I really don't think it could easily be spoiled. Like half of them probably don't even know what's a main story mission and what's not at this point.
Right. And even if you wanted to be spoiled, you probably have to get tied to a chair, and they'd have to spend like 2.5 hours telling you everything that happened. I mean, because what if it's like at the end of Cyberpunk 2077, it turns out that the dolphin leader of the mega corporation is actually the reincarnation of Jesus Christ, and you'd be like, the what, the who, the where, the when, the why?
That reminds me when somebody tried spoiling Return of the what is it, the Skywalker thing? I can't remember.
Rise of Skywalker.
And it was just like, none of that sounds real. Like the longer you talk, the more I'm like, is this a real movie? Like I don't think this is real.
She's all the Jedi. All right, that's what it is. Anyway, from there we also had a confirmation. I don't believe that this is a fucking news story, but I saw this in a lot of different places where it's like, we want to assure you 2 weeks from launch that Cyberpunk 2077 is actually going to come out on December 10th. So no more delays. Everything's cool. Don't worry about it. It's going to come out on the 10th.
I want something out of their power to happen so bad, and they're forced to delay just to see what would happen.
Well, last time they got death threats and everybody lost their fucking minds. Like,
yeah, it's true.
I would rather, this game be put out when it is done and correct than like half-assed and fucked up. So
exactly.
We also got we have a bunch of Cyberpunk news. We had a bunch of Cyberpunk 2077. We got some. Okay, so last week they had a video that was very much like this, where it was like the Xbox One X and then the Xbox Series and then the Xbox One X version running on the Series X. Fuck you, Microsoft. Come on. This week we're seeing the PS4 Pro version running on the PS5. You see how easy that was to understand? I didn't have very many X's at all in that sentence. So I don't know, Michael. What did you think of this? Did you think that the PS5, when it flips over, did it look like supremely different to you?
I couldn't really tell at the moment, only because it's like, well, some of the sequences they showed that were the same were a little harder to tell the difference. It seems like it's more a lighting thing than anything else. But for the most part, everything looks very similar with how detailed it is.
It's also weird because at this point now, welcome, Michael, welcome to the club. At this point, it's also, you're watching a 1080p video and it's like, well, how does it run in 4K? Like, it's weird because when they switch over on this PS4 Pro, because the whole first part was like this Nomad stuff that was during the day, and I don't think that during the day gameplay is a very good way to evaluate these next gen consoles, because
definitely not.
The lighting is like where it really shines. Like in Spider-Man, you turn on that ray tracing at night and it's just like, holy shit. And during the day, it's like, the sun's real bright. Look at that. But when it switches over to the PS5, I swear to God, it's like the lighting fidelity looks better.
It's 100% the lighting. That is the biggest obvious change.
Yeah. It looks a little bit sharper. Like, I honestly, though, I'm a little bit conflicted because I want to know, okay, I don't have a PC that can run this, but I do have a PS5, an Xbox Series X, and a subscription to goddamn Google Stadia. So, like, which one of these is the best version with the backwards compatibility to play? Because I'm going to play it, and I just want to know, like, are there features that are missing on the Series X when it does this backwards? Is the PlayStation 5 have a more variable frame rate? Like, I really wish that instead of showing this kind of glamour shit, that they had like a fucking Digital Foundry spreadsheet with a graph on it that showed like frame rates and feature sets and things, because like I'll be honest, this PS5, the lighting in here looks better than I think the Xbox Series X did, but it's not all the same footage, so it's really hard to know. And then I'm still trying to figure out whether like the Google Stadia version is going to have ray tracing turned on, and if it doesn't, then like does the GeForce Now version have ray tracing turned on? There are these questions that I want to know the answer to, because I want to know what the best version is to play, and I don't want to have to spend 48 hours waiting for Digital Foundry to tell me. Like, I just want to know before I buy it, instead of having to buy this game multiple times.
That's the trickiest thing about this entire thing, is like at this point it is more of a when it comes out then we'll see kind of thing.
Which is terrible. Like, I want to know this ahead of time so that I can be ready. I want to do midnight launch.
It's a good point, yeah.
I'm probably going to buy the PS4 version, and then if there's another version that is like markedly superior, then I might buy it a second time, which is like, I'll be very clear about this. I would never do such a stupid fucking thing if I didn't run a video game website. Like,
that's true.
I can write every version that I buy off my taxes. So like, I don't know. I really do think that people are going to need to, I mean, I don't even know if reviews are going to be out ahead of time, because this game is so freaking long.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. It's going to be one of those things where I'm probably going to have to wait a while before I finally make my decision on it.
I think that everybody that can wait should wait at least a day to see, like, oh, it turns out the PlayStation 5 version crashes all the time, right? Or the Xbox Series X version has, like, super bad frame tearing, and there's a patch on the way for that. I don't know.
Turns out the Stadia version replaces Keanu Reeves with Alex Winters. Who could have saw that coming?
I would like the Stadia version right now, please.
That would be kind of cool. Weird as shit, but it'd be amazing.
Speaking of the PS4 version, we also had a story that apparently one of the devs, this is a very strange story, an interview where they were like, yeah, it actually even runs pretty good on like a base level PS4 and a base level Xbox One, like not even the One X or the PS4 Pro. And it was like, well, I should hope so. I mean, you know, like if it runs like crap, but there was the company president, Adam Kaczynski or something, said, of course the performance is a bit lower than on the pros, but surprisingly good, I would say, for such a huge world. So bit lower but very good. That's the answer. And it's like, well yeah, man, like if you put out a game, I mean, I know that we're like right in the middle of the next gen and shit, but like if you put out a game that runs like garbage on the PS4 and the Xbox One, I mean, I don't know, Michael, do you think that that's like a thing that we're going to see, where you have games that just run like total shit nuts on those older systems?
Absolutely. It happened with the 3DSs. Because you remember there's the 3DS and the new 3DS, because they released Hyrule Warriors on the 3DS, and if you used an original 3DS, it ran like garbage, and it didn't even have that many enemies on the screen, so you had to have a new 3DS for it to play normally. So one of these days it may happen with these, but you know, hopefully they don't let it happen, but you know, it could very well happen.
I just hope that it's not a thing where, if you can't get a next gen console and you don't have a good PC, what you've got is a PS4 or an Xbox One, and you get this game that it isn't just like, I hope it's playable and enjoyable, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want it to just be the garbage version. Anyway.
It's all in 2D.
It's all cell shaded. It looks like
Scatter Darkly.
Yeah. That would be great. That'd be great. Speaking of people who might not be able to get a next gen console, we had this truly. Did you read this story, Michael?
I heard about this, and it's just fucking redonkulous as hell.
This is real weird and shitty. Like, apparently this week in Europe and the UK, the PS5 launched, and apparently in this area, like, there's this group that is called what the fuck are they called? Crep Chief? No, that's the person.
Crep Chief Notified?
That was the person. Yeah. Anyway, there's this like subgroup that charge a subscription to their service. Like, it starts at $40 and goes up to $530. And what this service is a group of people that have basically like an inside track on notifying you when you can buy something, where to buy it, where it's going to be in stock, the exact moment to start buying it, and then like supporting with bots and things like that. Apparently this group has managed to get 3,500 PlayStation 5s. Like, one of the things that they said they do is that they have probably somebody inside of either one of the retail stores or the distribution centers like feeding them like times when these things are going to go on sale so that they can basically hit the ground running and then hoard these things up.
Part of it that I saw is that they're going into the coding and seeing when the stock is being updated in the back end. And so they're seeing that, and then they're able to be like, oh, this one's about to go up because the stock is showing up in it. Because a lot of the times because, you know, I do support for a lot of e-commerce things. A lot of times when you're setting up something like this, you put in everything, you set up everything before you go live. Problem is, if somebody knows where to look coding wise, they can see all of that stuff happening at that exact moment.
Oh, okay. They can see it beforehand. Well, this was even also bolstered by this scalper group that was, this is, I'm pretty sure this is the same group that was just talking about how, like, we're not sorry for reselling these things at a markup. Some of our members don't have jobs and they're putting food on the table for their families by fucking marking these things up by $500 and selling them online. Like, you know, it's a shame somebody might not get a PlayStation, but somebody that we know that marked it up might fucking get to put food on the table because they did this. And it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. That doesn't make any...
That's dumb as shit. They're spending thousands to buy more than one PS5 for the most part, is what it seems like. So that's dumb as hell.
Yeah, like it's just, it's just like it's like a tweet with the Scrap Chief notified talking about looking for another income stream. Buy these and flip them on an instant 100-pound profit. We offer simple free. It's just like okay. Here's the thing. I know this is something that we've talked about it a little bit, and I've never gone on real hard on these people because I don't think I realized just how insidious this shit was because, and I will say this is 100% my ignorance, right? You and I managed to get PlayStation 5s like manually because they put them up in the crazy middle of the day, and you were just happened to be on Twitter and had people telling you. I managed to get an Xbox, you know, after a day worth of trying to do it online. I finally managed to get it at a local Walmart, right? But like, as the longer this goes on, the more I'm just seeing like the number. It would be one thing if, you know, like I told the story that there was a friend of mine when the PlayStation 3 came out who bought two and then resold one for double the price to cover the cost of his PlayStation 3. So he basically got a free PlayStation 3. And that's shitty. That's kind of shitty. But like, the amount of this that's going on is unreal right now. Like, I don't know, man. I think that this is the sort of thing where somebody needs to start looking into ways to get around this bullshit. Like, this is, I mean, the thing is that I don't want to buy these products from some jackoff who knows how to set up a bot script, right? Like, I don't have a problem giving my money to Target. I have a problem giving double my money to fucking Jimmy Scalp Boy over here on the internet. And they've been so brazen about it this time that, like, I think I was able to ignore it before. And this time it's just like, this is fucked up. This is...
Well, before, it was a lot of just, like, random stuff that we didn't, for the most part, didn't want, like shoes, televisions, maybe. Amiibos were the only ones that I saw that I was caring about, and I remember thinking the same thing around that time was, well, this is fucked up because I want this specific Amiibo, but a shit ton of people bought it purely to sell for more than, you know, it was worth originally.
Yeah.
But with the PS5, it's a holiday thing as well. Because a lot of people are viewing it as, you know, taking these away from kids who really want them, kind of thing, and it's somehow made worse by that. But there's plenty of people as well who are just like, look, I work really hard, and I just want to have the new system. Like, I don't see what's so bad about that. But these people, they don't really care, kind of thing. They're doing it for, like they were saying, like. They're doing it because for some reason it's their job, which is weird. Like, because it means that they have money to buy these to begin with. Like, it's just strange to me that this is even happening. Even like, but the issue is that it's so difficult to get past them because so many e-commerce websites, the only way they get past these things are limiting one per customer. But a lot of the times that's based on your IP address.
Yeah,
and you can just change your IP real easily nowadays. It's not an issue anymore. And if it's like, oh, it's based on your email, then people are just going to change their IP and change their email. Like, done. Like, there's nothing that's designed to stop it from going, at least at the moment, as far, like, it depends on the place, based on address. Like, I'm sure there's a couple that exist out there, but you got to put a lot of work to make something like that work to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say
built into your system.
I was going to say like MAC address, but even that, these guys would just buy 18 network cards and put them into the same system and then just flip between MAC addresses. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, I guess the thing that really irritates me more than anything else is the fact that it's like, yeah, I don't think like withholding something that people are excited about from them for a fucking tax. It's like it's like fucking, you know, some bully stealing your lunch money or like a fucking fucking Billy and me, we own this road and there's a $5 tax to walk down this road. It's like one of these bullshit things where it's just a bully doing some dumb shit. I hate it so much because people's lives are difficult. People want these things, and I think that the PlayStation 5 is a cool system and that people would really enjoy having it. People, like, they have the money, they want to buy this, and instead they've got to somehow fucking pay this asshole tax from these garbage people who are just, you know, and I don't really even know. Like, yeah, the thing is that I've seen a lot of people say, why doesn't Walmart do something about this? And I keep trying to think of, like, what? You know,
yeah, exactly.
Are they going to reinvent the entire e-commerce sector to stop PlayStations from selling out this season?
E-commerce is my job, and if somebody had called me and they say, how would I prevent this? I'd be like, I have no goddamn idea. Like, it's literally my job to tell you how, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I give you the minimum things, but like I said, I literally told you how to circumvent all of the minimums.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even think of, like, it's like, what? Are you going to make it, like, illegal or something? To buy more than one, like you pass a federal United States law that makes it illegal to buy more than one PlayStation 5.
I realize one of the other reasons why it's so much more difficult, or why it's so much more annoying in this day and age, is because the fact that you can't just line up outside of a store for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because I did that for your Switch, and I remember the line at the Best Buy was massive. Like, it was this massive fucking line. But you can't do that right now. Like, a lot of stores aren't even letting people line up. They've outright just said you can only do this online, and that just makes it that much harder for them to get one.
I saw people last night. Well, did you see that story with those two guys that literally bought like beds and set up in front of a GameStop with like two like full air mattress beds and pillows and everything? Like
I did not.
Like 2:00 yesterday afternoon, and they were just like, "Yep, we're gonna be here till they open." And then that led me to other stuff on Twitter where GameStop was literally putting up like this thing in the window that was like, "Here is our stock," and it had like a box, and it was like PlayStation 5s, Xbox Series X's, and there was one store that was like one PS5, 4 Xbox Series X's, and so just to see these pictures of all these PlayStations in somebody's living room and just like, ha ha, I got all the things, you have to pay double for them, and it's just like, fuck you. Did you
hear about what happened with one of them on Twitter though? Or not one of these guys, but I think where this top image originally came from.
Oh, where somebody like doxed him and broke him into their house or something like that.
Yeah, like they had posted the thing, and then the one of the replies was the person's address, and they're like, "I'm coming."
Yeah, it's weird because I think that because of the time that I got them, because I got them early on, I haven't really been in the mix for all this. But I feel bad. I really do. Like I
feel awful.
I even feel bad a lot of times when I'm making videos of the PlayStation 5 because I don't want it to seem like I'm rubbing it in people's faces or anything. It's just like, it's the new thing. It's the new games. That's just what I would normally do.
Buying the TV feels almost like that to me. Like I'm rubbing in the fact that I had to, I not had to, but I felt like I had to buy a whole new television for this one product that I bought. Like, it's one of those things, it's like, I'm shocked. The more stories like this come out, the more shocked I am that me and you were able to order that PS5 on Target.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was relatively, it went relatively simply as opposed to a lot of the other stuff that happened.
It took us what, like 5-10 minutes at most.
It was amazing.
It was just us fighting the site at most.
Yeah, perfect timing. There's also another story last week. I don't really know how much cachet to put in this, but this was in an interview with the Russian news agency TASS. Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan said the first run of PlayStation 5s is gone. Like, they do not have stock left. It said, everything is sold. Absolutely everything is sold. I spent much of the last year trying to be sure that we could generate enough demand for the product. And now in terms of my executive bandwidth, I'm spending a lot more time trying to increase supply to meet that demand. There's a few more other quotes, but one of the things I said is, I wouldn't plan on doing another big console launch in the midst of a global pandemic, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody else. So, I mean, yeah, that's the, I don't know. Like, this is worse than I've ever seen it before. I've never seen this type of thing happen. Maybe this is what used to happen in the 80s with like the fucking Cabbage Patch Kids and shit. Like when you couldn't find it anywhere. I remember like there was a year that Super Mario Brothers 3, I think, or 2 came out, and you just couldn't find it in any stores. But I don't know. I guess normally I wouldn't be that put out by this story, but again, I just feel bad because we've been having such a hard time as a species recently that I'm like, let them have PlayStations. Let them, if they have to stay at home this Thanksgiving and they can't see their family, let them have a PlayStation 5 for fuck's sake if they want one.
It's pretty insane. Like, the closest I've seen for this in my lifetime, at least, was what happened with the Wii. Because I remember they had to have literal, like, police guards at our Walmart for people buying Wiis.
Well, there's already been a lot. I mean, I didn't even bring it up, but there's other stories about Amazon delivery drivers who, like,
I heard about that.
On like cameras that like get out, walk up, like then turn around and leave and go back to their van and then mark delivered, and then like there's no PlayStation there, and it's like, or they have like cat food or like a George Foreman grill or something in the box.
Just random shit in the boxes.
Yeah,
and it's just like, man, people are doing some nefarious shit, and even the people who are trying to resell them in person, those people are getting robbed.
Goddamn.
I read a story. Yeah, a guy got like pistol whipped, and they took the PS5 he was trying to sell.
It makes me paranoid, Michael, because the blinds on the window in the recording room broke like this year, and there's a big gap in my blinds when they're closed. And from the street, you can see my TV, and I'm kind of worried somebody's gonna see like the PlayStation menu bar or like Demon Souls. They can be like, that motherfucker has Demon Souls, he's got to have a PlayStation 5, and then they're gonna fucking break into my house and take my PS5.
Yeah, I've tried not to to hint that I have it in this apartment, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, when you're screaming like, oh my god, it looks so good on my PlayStation
it's so beautiful.
5.
my baby, my beautiful baby.
Speaking of the PS5, we have a bunch of PS5 news. There was another cryptic firmware for the PS5, which basically just had the notes: the system software updates and improves system performance. That was it. Apparently, there's still some bugs out there that are happening. I made the mistake last week, Michael, of turning off my PlayStation with the button, which put it into rest mode. And when it came out and I tried to launch Demon Souls, everything ran like garbage at like half speed, and like once I rebooted it was fine. But yeah, there's still some buggy shit. There's still some buggy shit on this thing.
Yeah, I'm constantly trying to be careful with mine. I'm just like I don't even let my roommate use it. I've outright forbidden him from using it in fear of him doing something that'll break it. Yeah.
Like what? There's 2 buttons. There's nothing on it.
Yeah, but have you met my roommate? It's just like I've caught him like almost sleeping on my Switch before, so it's just like don't sleep on my Switch.
Yeah.
Don't do that, please.
Don't sleep on my Switch. That's good advice for everybody.
Exactly. So I can't trust them with it's a $500 machine that's as rare as like fucking platinum right now.
Yeah. We also got news last week. It was funny last week, almost directly after we did the podcast. So there's a door in Demon Souls that was locked and nobody could figure out how to open it. Somebody figured out how to open it like 3 hours after we finished the podcast. It turns out that I believe it's in the fractured mode, or maybe it's just in New Game Plus, there are these new items called ceramic coins in Demon Souls, and if you get all of them from the world, trade them with Sparkly the Crow. He gives you a key. You open the key to open the door, and what's inside? It's a set of armor based on one of the bosses to the game, Penetrator. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Kinky.
Yep. Oh yeah, between Penetrator and Maneater, there's a lot of suggestive Demon Souls bosses. So that's the Jeff story. The Michael story is that you can now transfer your Spider-Man save games from the PS4 to the PS5.
Yes, I was alluding to this. That's why I didn't bring up the whole story about, when I had to download the PS4 one again. Yeah, so you have to download your PS4 Spider-Man first, like if you don't already have it installed. And then there's a button in it to upload the save. It only does one save at a time.
Okay.
So you have to do one, go to the PS5, upload it, and then go back to the PS4, upload another one. So if you have more than one, that's what you have to do. Funnily enough, though, if you do it, it gives you all of the trophies that's based on your save data.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have like all of the costumes and all of the gadgets and stuff, like it's just going to basically give you a platinum, like outright.
Does the PS5 trophies for Spider-Man are separate from the PS4 Spider-Man trophies?
They are, but the game just decides that you have the save data for it. So now all of a sudden you just have most of the trophies. There are 5 trophies that are not related to the PS4 one, but some of them are still ones that you could get. Like I think only 2 of them I didn't get from transferring my save. And one of them was like get a 100-hit combo, and another one was like beat a base without getting damaged. And that was it. Those were the only 2 I didn't get from my save data.
Okay. And then it looks like they also added the Amazing Spider-Man suit, the Kamen Spider Rider suit, and then that white suit that were in the PS5 version. They added those to the PS4 game?
Yeah, because it was originally it was only for the remastered one, and people kept asking them, hey, are you going to let the save data go? And some people were asking them about the suits, and they're like, well, why don't we just add the suits to it? And so that's what they did.
Cool. Yeah. Let's see. From there, we got a Best Buy listing that hinted at possibly a Last of Us Part 2 PS5 version. This is very, very sketchy. But basically, there's a store listing on the Best Buy website that had the text on it, includes next gen upgrade, and so people are speculating that there might be in the works a next gen version of The Last of Us Part 2.
We're gonna get that Last of Us 2 remastered in less than a year.
Yeah, I don't know. They're also making that that HBO series, right? Maybe they'll put it out.
Oh yeah, they announced that. Yeah,
at the same time. But yeah, if you want to play that horrifically depressing 25-hour game a second time, you could do it in a faster system now. Hooray!
Go for it!
Yay! I don't know if you looked at this story, but in other news, people found out this week that basically, okay, so when you get a trophy on the PlayStation 5, I know that the Xbox did this before, where it would take a picture of you getting the
well, the PS4 does that too, actually.
Okay, it was the PS4 did it too, but now it takes a little video of when you hit a trophy, and so for Demon Souls, the example here was beating a boss. Whenever you beat a boss, it'll take a video of you beating the boss. What it doesn't tell you is that apparently it also just turns on the microphone to record you, because somebody went back and watched themselves beating a boss, and when they beat him, they were just like, yeah, and that was hooked to the video that they have on their PlayStation.
That's kind of amazing.
It's pretty fun. Pretty fun. Did you know that if you hold down the mute button on your PS5 controller, it just mutes the game audio?
Does it really?
And it doesn't bring up anything on the screen. Bryce and I have recorded a video of a PS5 game today, and on part 2, we started recording, and I was like, do you hear anything? He was like, no. I was like, and then he told me that, and I just held down the mute button, and suddenly, boop, sound came back on, and I was like, what? And it didn't say anything. It didn't even bring up a mute icon or anything. It just turned off the game audio.
That's so weird. I haven't really fucked with the mute too much on that thing. I finally started using the mic for just random shit, because you can voice search on YouTube with it.
Oh, okay. I don't want to hold my controller up to my face. That's the last thing I want to do.
It's fair, yeah.
Smell what's on my hands. We had another story this week talking about the PlayStation 5, where it was actually Microsoft talking about looking into a few different games where the PlayStation 5 is actually outperforming the Series X in spite of the fact that the Series X has beefier hardware. Assassin's Creed Valhalla apparently has had some like frame rate dips. Some people were thinking that this might be because the PlayStation 5 has is doing like the variable resolution thing where like if the frame rate starts to dip, it can literally lower the screen resolution and then upsample it in order to keep a continuous frame rate going. Another speculation, another idea about why this might be is that apparently the Xbox Series X dev kits went out way later than the PS5s. The PS5 dev kits had been in the wild for quite some time before it was announced, and that the Series X dev kits went out later, so it's possible that like Assassin's Creed or Dirt 5 is another one of the ones, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, that those developers might have had longer to work on those ports and might have been able to iron out more of the kinks. In any case, it appears that Microsoft knows these things are happening and is trying to work to this was from a spokesperson for Microsoft said, "We are aware of performance issues in a handful of optimized titles on the Xbox Series X/S and are actively working with our partners to identify and resolve issues to ensure an optimal experience." This is your weekly reminder that this shit's going to be about a year before it gets fully ironed out. You should expect bumpy, choppy seas ahead. I, at least in my opinion, you should, because I've never met a console launch that hasn't been at least somewhat wackadoo. So
yeah, usually it's a year for any console launch I've ever seen before it really becomes like, hey, maybe you should buy it now.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. We also got both our PlayStation Plus and Xbox Games with Gold games for December were announced this week. And you want to finish the year with a... so on the PlayStation side, Just Cause 4, Rocket Arena. Remember Rocket Arena? Remember how
Jesus, yeah.
You remember how I paid for Rocket Arena right before they gave it away for free or dropped the price to like $2 or whatever?
Like $5, I think. Something ridiculous.
And Worms Rumble. And Worms Rumble is your PlayStation 5 December game.
Worms Rumble is the PS5 one?
Yes, sir. Worms Rumble is the PS5 game that you're going to be getting for your PlayStation Plus subscription this year. I don't really.
Fuck it, sure, why not?
I don't really care how good the Worms game is. I don't think that the Worms game. I don't hate Worms games, but I don't want this to be. Give me something else. Give me Sackboy for free or something. I don't know. Like
it's too early, Jeff. It's too early.
They gave away Bug Snacks, man. That game is rad. So yeah, the Xbox on the other hand is no better because they are getting the Raven Remastered, which is an old-ass PC game that they did a remaster for, and Bleed 2, which is a side-scrolling hack-em, slash-em, shoot-em. Also, the 360 version of Gat Out of Hell and Stacking are coming to games with gold. Look out, Michael.
Hooray?
Stacking.
Question mark?
Stacking.
All right, is it what it sounds like?
It's that Double Fine game where you play as little Matryoshka dolls and you jump into the ones and it's a little adventure. It's a good game. It's just it's like 4 years old and
so is that Saints Row Get Out of the Hell thing, but it's like like you said, they're pretty old now.
Yep. So maybe Game Pass will have something better, but nothing really good on that front. In other Xbox news, The New Day is joining Gears 5. If you do not know The New Day, they're a WWE superstar team made up of Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. I know about these guys because because Amanda and John are big fans, and apparently they are now coming to Gears 5.
They're all over the internet a lot of times. Like, they are giant nerds. I think one of them they announced is going to be on the new G4.
Oh, the network?
Yeah, because they, how they were trying to get like new hosts and stuff. One of them was campaigning hard on Twitter to be on it, and they were like, "Well, we heard you, so now he's part of G4."
Cool. Yeah, Dave, formerly they've had Dave Bautista was in the game. But this is so far I don't think there's actually been a price for what these skins will cost. Obviously this is multiplayer. There's not like single player DLC where you get to play as these characters.
That would be amazing, though.
I would totally be down for that. I would put that on my channel 100% up front. So we also got some Star Wars Squadrons news for the Xbox Series X. If you've got Star Wars Squadrons, there was the big patch that put in the new there's a few new items as well as the new multiplayer map. And if you have it on the Series X, apparently you can run the game at 120 frames per second.
Who needs that many frames? That's way too many frames.
I don't know. I've never seen 120 FPS video. I literally couldn't tell you what it looks like. Does
if I could do a Don Knotts impression, I would totally have done it in that way. There's way too many frames. Way too many of them.
Yeah, apparently they're giving you some options to do basically the same option we've had for a long time, visual quality or performance, so quality mode or performance mode. And yeah, at 2160 at 120 FPS on the Series X. So I don't know. I really need to see what 120 frames per second looks like because do I need to buy a new TV? I'll buy a new TV if it's worth it.
I would tell you, yeah.
I don't know if that many frames is really that big a deal. I mean, I have to assume
if it's worth it at all, yeah.
It's double. Is it just going to look even more like a Mexican soap opera? Is that what's going to happen?
Perhaps. Mexican space soap operas.
I want to make a first-person telenovela game for the Xbox Series X that runs at 120 hertz.
I'd play that. Porque.
We also found that there was some patches for Assassin's Creed Valhalla that kind of did some similar stuff. Apparently on the PS5 and the Series X, there's now an option to switch between performance and quality, some general graphical updates, and some bug stuff that got fixed. I'm not going to play this game. I've heard this game is like 65 plus hours long, and that's too fucking long for an Assassin's Creed game. I'm not going to play it. Like, I'm not.
I saw Sammy Gonzalez post about having it, and he's like, I've played this for 60 hours, and I've hated every minute of it. But I spent the money on it, so I'm going to keep going.
I'm not playing it. This is too much fucking time. I kind of enjoyed when Chris and I played it, but yeah, I'm not doing it.
Apparently John Carpenter loves it though.
Great. I hope that he
he tweeted out about it apparently.
I don't want forever games, Michael. I don't want forever games. I love in Yakuza Like a Dragon, but I'm like 35 hours into that. It's too fucking long.
I never finished Persona 5. Just never did.
Oh, me neither. I'm curious. I'm going to be curious to know what happens with Cyberpunk because I was playing Yakuza and I was like, why am I like 35 hours into Yakuza? And I'm just like, yeah, it's time to play fucking another 12 hours of Yakuza. And I always complain about like Final Fantasy and stuff. And it's like, oh, right. It's because like I like what's happening in Yakuza. I like this goofy guy. I like the way that after 35 hours, there's some stuff happening where I'm just like, what? So, let's see. Speaking of what, we got an announcement that there's going to be a new The World Ends With You game.
Which is crazy as shit that it's taken this long for them to finally make one.
I think it's crazy that they're doing it at all. I mean,
dude, I had friends who swore by that fucking game.
Right, but I mean, did it sell enough to like warrant even a sequel? I mean,
it was one of those games that got re-released constantly. Like constantly. Like it was on the DS, it was on constantly on the phones. It had such a cult following. They added it to the Kingdom Hearts 3DS game. Like people really were rabid on this game for a while.
Yeah. So I can't really say anything about this because I never finished the first one. I played it when it came out, but that was a long time ago. I mean, this certainly looks kind of like that. I've always kind of thought The World Ends With You's whole thing was the whole double screen, top screen, bottom screen.
It was using like two characters at the same time kind of thing,
yeah.
Which is why I sucked at it. I just couldn't do it for some reason. So I wonder how if that's the same sort of deal here or not. It definitely looks like a lot, more detailed than it was because the original one, like I said, was a DS game, and then it was on phones for a while. But it looks like they put a lot more money into this than they did the first one.
Yeah, it definitely also resembles the original, like the kind of comic style with the really hard black lines. Like looks a lot like the first one.
My friend did point out some really cool stuff though, because in the trailer you see Tower Records and Modi. In the original one, they had like they call them something else, but now they look like what they actually would look like in real life.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, so I don't know. This looks really good. I mean, if you're into that, rejoice. Take a look at the new trailer. I don't think we got any actual information about like when it's coming out. Just coming 2021.
Yeah,
summer for the Switch and the PS4. So there you go.
Good for you. Good for you guys. The guys who really, really love that. Because, like I said, those people were rabid, absolutely rabid about how much they loved it.
I can't decide, Michael, if this news indicates that game developers are like they have more love in their hearts for old franchises and they want to bring them back, or they've squeezed all the blood out of all of the AAA franchises, so now they're going down to the AA franchises to start wringing them dry.
That's very possible.
Yeah, I don't know. If you had told me that this was going to happen in the year 2020, I would be like, no. That's what they're going to make a sequel to The World Ends With You? Okay, sure.
Oh, if you would have told me that when it first came out, I probably still wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah, sure. Next thing you're going to tell me is they're going to make a new Mother game as well. That's stupid. And if that happens, you all better thank me because I have a track record of saying shit will never happen. And then 1 week later, I got to eat my words. So if you motherfuckers get another Mother game, you got to say thank you, Jeff, for saying there will never be another Mother game. And y'all are just dreaming. Give it up, nerds.
I wonder whatever happened with that fan game. They were trying to make a fan Mother 4.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, years ago. And I haven't looked into it since then.
I never actually beat Earthbound. I don't know.
I did. It was great. I never beat part 1 or 3 because Earthbound is technically part 2.
Yeah. Let's see. In other Nintendo news, Nintendo. You do so well from time to time, and then you come along and shove your dick directly into the pencil sharpener. So, okay. Super Smash Brothers Melee. There is a fighting game tournament called the Big House that's been kind of a tournament thing that's happened for a while. This year, of course, with all of the COVID and such, they wanted to do it remote, right? They wanted to do their fighting game championship remote.
Yeah.
Easy, well enough. Apparently, though, one of the games they use is Super Smash Brothers Melee. Super Smash Brothers Melee does not have online support. But apparently, if you use a mod called Slippy, Slippi, you can emulate Super Smash Brothers, and you can put it online, and you can fight people over the internet. So Nintendo found out that they were going to be using this mod, which I'm sorry, the thing that will make this all make sense, and everybody who knows things will go, oh, is that the mod is used with a ROM of the game.
Which is, I figure it would be to be expected, but like...
Yeah, because what else are you going to do? Are you going to hook your GameCube up to your PC or something? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, how does that work? Like, what did they think was going to happen?
Yes. So Nintendo caught wind of this and basically sent them a cease and desist order. To sum it up, Nintendo's general attitude is, well, this has to be used with mods or with ROMs. ROMs are illegal. You can never have a legal ROM. ROMs are 100% illegal. We are Nintendo. Shut it the fuck down. And the response, of course, being like, well, in the United States, ROMs are illegal if you own a copy of the game.
Yeah.
You could back that copy up to a ROM file. And as long as you own a copy, a ROM file is legal. It's personal backup. It should be no surprise that Nintendo was not swayed by this reasonable argument and instead went ahead and shut that shit down. So I don't really know what people expected. Like everybody, there's a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth about hashtag free Melee, hashtag save Smash. I definitely think that the community and the organizers are in the right about this. However, Nintendo has demonstrated time and time and time again over the years that they do not give a fuck about what is reasonable, especially when it comes to ROMs.
100%. They are litigations as fuck, no matter what. Like, they're a family-friendly company, but if you do anything they don't like, they will immediately sick a lawyer on you. Immediately.
Yeah, they will come down on you like the hammer of fucking Thor. Like, they're not fucking around. They don't, they're a really weird company because, like, I mean, I'm just gonna point this out, right? Like, they're drip feeding Nintendo is sitting on a library of games that they could put on the Switch, right? They could have the NES store on the Switch charge $5 per NES game that you would like to play, right? Like, if you want to play original Metroid, you can play it on your Switch. It's $5, man, just $5, right? And I think that everybody would be happy with that as a solution. If there was a rumor that they were going to put GameCube games on the Switch, I would kill to play GameCube games on my 100%. Switch. But Nintendo refuses to give people the fucking NES Classic has 12 games on it. And it's like, how many quality Nintendo games you should for $50. I should get 200 NES games. Like, so I don't.
It's pretty ridiculous how they've treated their back catalog all these years, like to this day. Like, people are constantly upset with PlayStation and them not being backwards compatible, but Nintendo is far shittier about this than any of these fucking companies will ever be.
Absolutely, absolutely, and so like, it's one of those things where it's like Nintendo knows that people play Smash, which one? Melee.
People
right?
fucking love Melee. It's crazy.
Yeah, people are totally into Melee. They play it all the time. Nintendo would make a fucking fortune if they just put out a shittily remastered version of Melee that had some kind of net code pasted into it to let people play online. Like, people would buy that game for a shitload of money, and they would play it, right? Like, they would do it. If they had an HD version of Melee that you could buy, you could play on the internet, people would do that. But they're like, no, refuse. We refuse to do that. And it's baffling. You could have more money. I've never seen a company that's so afraid to be like, no, we do not. And it's like, but we'll pay you. Like, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I've never, even PlayStation is sometimes a little more lenient towards it, but yeah, Nintendo's just like, we will sue you. We will sue the shit out of you just from you asking, kind of thing.
Yep. If you ever make a Nintendo fan spin-off project, never let anyone know until it is 100% finished, and then put it out as fast as you can, and then just run away from it because it will get taken down.
Pretend you never made it. Like, just don't even put your name on it. Just be like, here you go, and then just disappear.
Put it on the Pirate Bay. Don't put it on a website. Put it on torrent websites.
Put it somewhere where Nintendo has no power.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, Michael, we've been going for about an hour. I was hoping we could get through these, but apparently I'm just not used to that anymore. I really did think that this week was going to be the week. I still think we're going to get a chance to answer a few questions.
Every week.
I know. I just need to start having fewer stories because I don't anticipate how much we talk about each one. So we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to keep going, and hopefully we're even going to answer a few questions. So everybody stick around, and we'll see you in just a minute. And unfortunately, there's still more news left, but I swear most of it's pretty good news. So before we left, we were talking about Nintendo and their horrible decisions. Speaking of really strange decisions from Nintendo, so Doom Eternal was supposed to be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and about a week ago, ish, GameStop started canceling all the pre-orders that they were getting for the Switch port. People were like, oh no, they canceled Doom Eternal on the Switch. And it turns out, no, they did not. But it's only going to be released digitally. There will not be a physical release of Doom Eternal on the Switch.
That is a weird choice.
Yeah. I was really curious about why this is. I don't know if there's really any real question. The only thing I could think of was that, I don't know, it had such a day one patch or something that they were like, don't even bother. Don't even put it out on this thing.
Yeah. Maybe the carts just couldn't handle it, and they're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, there were too many of those Marauders in the cart, and they just melted from the strain.
It was too extreme. Nintendo just couldn't handle it and just exploded.
It's true. It's very true. Speaking of things that people can handle, Red Dead Online is apparently going to be released as a standalone game. So, like, if you were interested in playing Red Dead's online component, but you didn't want to buy Red Dead 2, which at this point, aren't they just giving that shit away for free? I know Epic gave it away for free.
I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah. But apparently you can buy it, and right now it's on sale for $5, which is apparently 75% off. So they're going to want, what, $20 for just Red Dead Online? Yeah.
That's not insane, depending, but it depends if you actually would use something like that. Honestly, that's what they should have done with Grand Theft Auto Online and just make another fucking Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I have no idea what to talk about that. But speaking of Grand Theft Auto, this is the weirdest thing I've ever fucking seen. I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at this, but...
No, I did not.
Okay, last week, Rockstar put out a little teaser for the next Grand Theft Auto Online update. There's very little in it. There's very, very little in it. It's just like a bunch of like cyber screens, like activating agent or something like that. But at the bottom, there's a set of coordinates. And when people punched the coordinates into Google Maps, they found a dirt road in Virginia that kind of looks like the number 6. And so people are like, Grand Theft Auto 6 confirmed. Which
I don't know if Grand Theft Auto's ever gone full Kojima before, but...
Also, it seemed really weird to put this in just like a random... I guess unless they spend like the next year teasing out the number 6 in a variety of different hidden ways over the course of various DLCs for Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto 5 and stuff like that.
Maybe.
Yeah, but if this does turn out to be the beginning of a campaign for Grand Theft Auto 6 and not just a wackadoodle coincidence, I will be very impressed. I would too. Very impressed. I'm not impressed, however, with the Avengers, Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah.
The longer that goes on, the less of the Avengers is interesting to me. We actually talked last week about the Kate Bishop stuff. What I didn't realize, because I didn't actually watch their dumb war table thing, though, was this teaser for the Hawkeye thing. Did you see this, Michael?
I did, actually. Because a bunch of people were talking about it specifically because it's like an old man Logan feature.
Yeah, well, but the Maestro is there? The old Hulk Maestro?
Yeah, which is interesting because, there were screenshots of the Maestro at some point. And people were wondering, like, when are they going to, use it? But, apparently they're going to use it for this random thing.
Hawkeye, future imperfect. The only thing I could think of is, like, okay, does this mean that you're just going to take all of the existing areas in Avengers and just dirty them all up? Like, is that going to make this game better?
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, they really don't know what to do with it at this point. And they're hemorrhaging players like crazy.
Not just players, but apparently earnings call that's sold terribly. Apparently this was during the presentation. They talked about how basically their profits are down in the HD games subsegment division. They didn't actually talk specifically. They said that Avengers did not make up the development costs. But the thing is that somebody asked, they said, if Avengers had, if the Avengers wasn't factored in, would you guys have been in the black? Would you have made a profit? And they were like, yes, we would have. So.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, and they're so weird about it too. They're like, well, we're just going to add a bunch of stuff and maybe our players will come back. And I'm like, if you can pull that off, maybe, but I just don't see it happening right now.
I guess it's just like, to me it doesn't like, the one time that this worked was with No Man's Sky, right? And I feel like No Man's Sky, it worked with No Man's Sky because the team that developed No Man's Sky, I mean, this is an assumption, I'm out on a limb, of course, but like, I think that those people genuinely cared that they had to put out their game unfinished, and they wanted to finish it. Like, they actually had a vision in mind, and they were stopped from fulfilling that vision. So they wanted to go back and make that vision a reality. Whereas this was always just kind of, it seemed like a kind of a corporate, like, I don't know, just
It wasn't like their plan. If I feel like this team didn't originally plan on making this version of this game, and it shows every time they have to fix something. Like, they're constantly updating it to fix the base game.
yeah.
And in the middle of a pandemic too, like it's that much worse for them, because at least with No Man's Sky they had all the time in their studio for the most part, minus like a couple times, minus whatever came out this year. But these poor bastards, like constantly just having to delay, having nothing to show for a long time. Like, we didn't have any footage outside of A Day till like a month or two before this game even came out.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe they could turn it around. Maybe they've been like getting us all. Maybe what they're actually doing is they're redoing all of the character models to make them look like the movie versions of the Avengers, and that's the way they get us back in. Is they're just like, it looks like the regular Avengers now, even though that wasn't really. That didn't bother me quite so much when I was playing the game, but
it didn't bother me as soon as I really got into the game. Like, it did at first, because it was that gag that kept coming up where it's like, you don't have the Avengers; these are their stunt doubles, kind of thing.
Right.
and it was a good gag, especially because Captain America's outfit, his default outfit, is fucking awful. Like, it's this SWAT team looking thing with like maybe a tiny hint of red kind of thing on it. Whereas like every outfit I've gotten for him since has been a much better outfit for it. So it's just so weird that they did that.
Yeah. I don't know what I just don't think that they have the will. I mean, we saw what happened with fucking BioWare, right? Is they put the poor Austin studio on fixing Anthem,
yeah.
And like, meanwhile, the Mass Effect Collector's Edition is coming out. They teased the beginning of Dragon Age, and they've teased that they're starting to work on a new Mass Effect. And it's like, if you really gave a shit, you should probably have fixed maybe not only Anthem, but maybe you should also have fixed Mass Effect Andromeda, for fuck's sake. Like,
this is the one thing I'll say about the Avengers team, is that they seem to care enough that they're trying constantly.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like nothing has changed since it came out. They're constantly changing it. The fact that, because I think I mentioned this somewhere else, there's a ping system now for the CPUs now, where you could be like, oh, I need Iron Man to unlock that door for me, or I need Hulk to smash that wall for me, kind of thing. And like, that just happened, and a new new skins are still coming out for it, kind of thing. And they're trying, but the issue is that what they've done so far is they've just fixed the base game, and there just isn't really anything else to show for it outside of that yet.
Yeah.
And hopefully the Kate Bishop is something that might, get people excited for stuff down the line if it works out. But it's not looking good for them. That's all I really have to say.
I think that I want to wait for the next gen versions to come out, and then maybe give it 3 or 4 months if they can get onto a regular content dump update schedule, and then like let them put a few extra content items in, and then go back and maybe see what's going on. But yeah. In other Square Enix news, this is actually really good news. Apparently, Square Enix is going to allow their people to start working from home during the pandemic, and apparently they're going to just let that be a permanent thing. So, moving forward, they're going to allow people to essentially decide if they want to work from home or if they want to basically be office-based, and then kind of segment them up and have different policies depending on what the things are going on. I'm a really big fan of this. I really hope that companies continue to let people work from home. I don't know. I know that you maybe have some mixed feelings about it, but the idea of having to get up every day and put on clothes and get in your car to go to go sit in front of a second computer outside of the one that you have at home, to me has always just kind of been like, why? Just let people do it from home.
It depends on the job a lot of the times. Like the reason I have mixed feelings about it is that my job, I rely on people a lot, and it's nicer to have them in a building with me.
Yeah.
Instead of having to message somebody like, "Hey, does anybody know anything about this?" and then not hear anything for 30 minutes while somebody's on hold, kind of thing. Like it's one of those few things, one of the few reasons why I miss working in a place, because you get to talk to people. But like the way it is right now, it's not too bad, but I don't see myself working from home myself personally for that long, but I get it 100% though.
I'm sorry, I got really distracted because okay, what? I'm sorry. I got really distracted because there's a Kotaku article and it had a fucking tie-in ad for a 65-inch 4K UHD HDR smart TV at Target for $230.
Oh wow!
I'm like, I would buy that just because. I would just drill it into a wall somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, yes, you are correct. There are problems with working from home as well. I don't know. It also seems to me like a thing where, I know that this isn't what would happen, but I really wish that companies would stop renting out office space and then pass the money they would have spent on the office space onto their employees to like make their homework setups work better. Because, do stuff. Or like 70% of that. Keep 30% for yourself. Everybody gets a bonus, and then all the people get bonuses. Well, speaking of getting a bonus, I'm sure that Epic is going to be getting a bonus when Fortnite starts their new monthly subscription service.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, starting next week with Chapter 2 of Season 5. Fortnite is getting a $12 a month subscription called Fortnite Crew that will give special rewards as well as all the Battle Pass stuff, V-Bucks, etc. I think it's really interesting. I don't really give a shit about Fortnite, but the reason I wanted to talk about the story was I think it's really interesting where it was like, remember when we had subscriptions for shit like MMOs and everybody got tired of it? Nobody wanted to pay the subscription anymore. So we phased out subscriptions and they brought in loot boxes. And then the loot boxes were so good that they brought in the Battle Pass. And now the Battle Pass is so good that they're just back to subscriptions. I feel like it's just a big circle. It's going to keep going around.
Oh, it's 100%.
Around.
I know Fallout 76 tried to pull this not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe Fortnite will have a better go at it.
Fallout first. Yep.
Yeah.
I had that shit for like 5 months. I bought it for one video and then I couldn't figure out on my PlayStation how to cancel my subscription for months. I think I had to do it on the PC eventually. I couldn't even figure out in the menus where to get to it. So that's kind of weird. The Fall Guys is another online game that everybody really likes. This was really interesting because the Fall Guys had a Season 3 theme that's like kind of this winter theme with like penguins and stuff. But the way that they did their reveal for it was they spent out 300 individual DMs with the puzzle pieces to this big puzzle to people on Twitter and Discord and Instagram and a variety of different other places. And then all those people had to work together to put together the puzzle that was this picture of Fall Guys next season.
That's kind of amazing, but also would have been funny if nobody shared their images.
If people started... a bunch of scalpers got the images. They were really willing to let them go.
Just never showed anybody any of these things.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. What is not altogether cool is this is a very strange thing. Apparently there's been this Transformers game that's been in development for a little while by a company I've never heard of called Leo, who's been trying to make a Transformers game. Apparently they have now been acquired by Tencent, and we got some details on it. This shit is very like Destiny / Warframe. Like, oh, the Autobots and Decepticons were fighting over this gigantic thing, and then it exploded, and all these shards went to Earth, and now you have to go to the shard zones and fight people to get the shards back, and you start out with like one Transformer, and then you get to unlock other Transformers, and you gotta play with your friends, and I want to kill myself. That sounds stupid.
It reminds me the most, based on what I read on it, of DC Universe Online, actually.
I can see that.
Because it mentions like, oh, fight with the main characters kind of thing, because that's what DC Universe Online's thing was. It's like, oh, you can fight with Superman. I'm like, can I be Superman? Not really. Like probably in this one specific area. I'm like, well, I don't really care about that. And it's been that thing has been around for ages. Like they're still doing shit with DC Universe Online, but this sounds very similar to that kind of thing.
I can see that. In any case, I don't know. Show me a trailer. I'm not exactly holding my breath for this one. I think this one's going to go in the bucket of like bad Transformers games that they've never really been able to make it work right. So
I'm sure this game's gonna be awful, to be honest. Yeah.
Speaking of movie tie-ins for video games, Michael, I know that you are super excited about the news that Mila Jovovich is getting put into Monster Hunter World Iceborne as a character that you could get and you could play as. You could play Monster Hunter with Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, she has a whole like little story arc thing with it. But what I love the most about this is the amount of comments about it, because they're like Monster Hunter patting itself on the back. Monster Hunter's crossing over with Monster Hunter. like is that image, you know, where like it shows like I think it's supposed to be Obama like putting like a medal on somebody, but they just put 2 Obamas on it. Like it's just that, but with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I don't know. This is, I mean, you know, Monster Hunter has already had what? Geralt was in Monster Hunter.
Geralt was in it.
Who else did they put in there? They put like Final Fantasy.
Dante. There's a Dante skin. There's a Ryu skin, a Sakura skin.
Yep. I remember those Street Fighter ones.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy ones you mentioned. Yeah, the Mega Man Palicos. I know there was something else, but I can't remember what it was.
Okay, so
yeah, they're constantly doing it.
Are you going to play this subquest to get the Mila Jovovich skin in Monster Hunter?
Probably. I can't really refuse the commander's help in anything. So.
Is there any universe in which this makes you more excited for the Monster Hunter movie?
Not really.
Okay,
but I've seen some trailers that make it more enticing though. Like the longer it goes on.
Oh yeah, after we had the battle podcast about Monster Hunter.
Yeah, because the first American trailer is just so awful. But every trailer I've seen, like that's an international trailer, really leans more into the Monster Hunter side than we did. Okay, and it's like, oh, there's a lot more going on with this than I thought originally. So yeah,
cool. In other movie tie-in news that is sure to tickle everyone's fancy. This week, Mortal Kombat 11 got the classic MK movie skin pack with not just skins but voices for Christopher Lambert. It's funny because I think I said in one of the videos, it's like, yes, Christopher Lambert is Raiden, and everybody was and somebody in the comments was like, yeah, what about Johnny Cage and Sonya? And I'm like, fuck them. All I want is Christopher Lambert. Like what?
That's the thing. When they came out with this and they're like, oh, it's $6, I'm like, I would have spent that alone for Christopher Lambert, Raiden.
Have you gotten it yet? Have you installed it?
I did, yeah.
Is there any place where he does the little laugh? Is there any way to make Raiden do the little laugh with the Christopher Lambert skin?
I haven't really had a chance to get to use them yet. Like, I bought them and then I didn't get a chance to use them yet, but I super plan on doing it probably as soon as I can.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, we kind of got a hint that this was going to be happening a few months back because there was some stuff in the source code that people dug out. But they look good. They look good. I like them.
They look great. Unfortunately, Raiden doesn't have a no hat option, so he always has the hat on.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
It's the only unfortunate thing about that one. But I love that this is a thing.
If you could,
I want them to release a second one with Robin Cho in it.
Oh, is Liu Kang?
Yeah, I would love that.
I want the bad Mortal Kombat 2 pack that has like James Remar as Raiden and like whoever it was that played Sindel, and I want a new intro where she says that stupid line from Mortal Kombat.
I've seen comments that have said the exact same thing.
Yay!
I would totally pay money for that exact thing.
Ed Boon, come on, man, come on.
Fucking do it again. Bring in the weird Shao Kahn and everything.
Just I don't even care about voice actors. Just make Shao Kahn look as bad as he looked in Mortal Kombat 2. I just want the bad skin pack for Mortal Kombat. That's what I want. I want more bad skin packs for things like, that would be nice.
I'd pay good money for all of that stuff.
I don't know if you watched our dojos this week for Call of Duty, but I got to inform Jason that John Rambo and RoboCop and the Terminator were all in the same video game, and he was like, wait a minute, does that mean that like Rambo can fight RoboCop? And I was like, yeah, I've done it a bunch.
It's great. I love it.
And now we can have a fatality where John Rambo rips out Christopher Lambert's windpipe in the goriest fucking fatality of all time.
I love this fucking game. I love everything they've done. MK11 is just this weird checklist of things I never thought I wanted in my life, and then they just gave it to me.
It's funny because I feel like 9 was so good, and then like 10, I struggled to like 10, and now with 11, I'm just like, no, man, I dig it. There's only one thing I want more than any of that. It's just like, make Melina more broken so that I can fucking own Michael with Melina when I'm wasted, because I don't think I could do it right now. Her teleport's too slow.
Probably not, yeah.
It doesn't follow through very well. Let's see. In other movie video game news, we also got Tomb Raider. Well, sort of. We got a cell phone Tomb Raider game that is going to be made pretty soon called Tomb Raider Reloaded. I kind of like the art style on this, but I don't like the fact that it's a cell phone game, and I'm sure it's going to be a bad cell phone game when it is.
I'm sure it's just going to be this like weird, annoying thing, but I don't know.
Yeah. It doesn't look... again, whoever made this trailer, I dig the art style. I do not dig the fact that it is a phone game. So, let's see. We also got a trailer for Evil Genius 2 World Domination, a game that I feel like only ever comes up at the PC gaming show during E3. This was a pretty good trailer, and it showed us there's a character here called Red Ivan that is being voiced by Brian Blessed.
Really?
Yeah, which is really strange. This whole thing, I was actually really surprised because this is like one of those sim games where like you start way out, and I keep forgetting like from Theme Hospital and stuff that these games, if they have a strong enough art style, you can zoom in really far and they have a lot of great detail. Like,
yeah.
All the little individual characters and stuff look really cool. And yeah, I really am interested in playing this. The only problem I had with this trailer was that they have a fight between the forces of justice, who are all dressed in red, and Brian Blessed's fucking Red Ivan army, which is all in orange. And all the while, a red alarm light is going off during this footage. And it's like, I don't know what?
That's probably the weirdest like choice they made.
Yeah, like everybody looks kind of dark orange, and it's like, okay, great. I realize he was red because he's some kind of weird communist, but you know, could you have made the cop guys blue or something?
Yeah, blue or green, like literally any other color that's not as close to orange as possible.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it looks really good, and we haven't heard anything about Evil Genius 2 in a while.
Yeah.
We also got some actual footage of the Override 2 Super Mech League Ultraman add-on pack, which is a pre-order like $7 thing with some of the Ultraman. We got a teaser for it before, but now we've actually seen some actual gameplay of it.
He looks pretty cool.
He does. You know what the weirdest thing though about this was, Michael?
What's that?
Did you see the release date for it?
Yeah, it's
December 22nd. Yeah, like nobody puts shit out that close to Christmas.
It's kind of insane, but I guess it's because it's more digital than anything else.
Yeah. This does mean that I've got something to play with Matt. I've got a Christmas present for Matt where we get to play Ultraman fighting a bunch of robots.
Hooray.
I kind of wish that this wasn't a literal arena fighter, though. I kind of liked it when they framed it as the first one as just like a thing that was happening. But
I did really like what the first one did, but yeah, that's a little weird, but I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I do like that they still have the Mexican fish robot in there, though.
Yeah,
with the giant frying pan, he was pretty cool.
He's pretty great.
Let's see. We got another trailer for Fenyx Rising. This trailer actually came out last week. Michael, did you watch this trailer?
Yeah, I was watching it, and it's really interesting, all the stuff that they want to put out for this post-launch.
Yeah, I skipped it last week because I was like, oh, it's Ubisoft. You know, it's going to be like, and then in January, a brand new quest, Medusa's taking over downtown Athens, and you've got to go fight her. But like, no, dude, these are 3 really weird DLCs. I guess the first one is just like you're going to Olympus to talk to the gods directly, which, you know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The second one was where it got interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's literally like a whole new area full of Chinese folklore, which I didn't see coming at all. Like, at all.
Yeah, I think that's what caught me off guard the most about it. I was like, oh, this is a whole separate thing entirely. Like, this could just be another game based on like your original idea. Like, it's crazy. I think it's amazing.
It would seem like a spin-off game of some sort. And then the third one is like a weird isometric Diablo game where you play as yet another character, but they've zoomed out the camera and you're like looking down from above.
Yeah, it's crazy as shit. Like, it's fascinating. Like how this game, because before I was like, I don't really care about this game all this much, but man, they've done a really good job at making me a little more interested in it.
Yeah, I was too. I really didn't. I didn't actually care that much about it, and then I ended up watching the or playing the Stadia demo for it, and that in and of itself was really interesting. So yeah, it actually got me like more interested in the actual game itself. So. All right, next up, we had a video for Hitman 3, which I was super excited about, where they actually showed this location, Chongqing, but then they also they just had all this jibber-jabber about, like, the number of NPCs they can have and, like, movement and AI and lighting and stuff. And I'm like, no, give me a trailer for a location in Hitman. But this looks like a really interesting, like, this kind of like back alley stuff with all the neon and the water textures. They did talk about one of the things I really liked that they talked about was how in Hitman 3 they're really going to try to smooth out all of the like context sensitive stuff, like going into cover, because it's very stiff right now, right? Like you walk up to something and then like a prompt comes up and you hit the prompt and then Hitman 47 very stiffly like moves into position, and they're going to try to like kind of add some frames in there to sort it out a little bit.
That's really nice, and they probably have a lot more leeway now with the stronger consoles.
Yes. One of the big things they were talking about is how they can have like 300 different NPCs with AI running at the same time.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I goddamn love Hitman. I know that's a shocker to everybody. Everyone's like, but Jeff, don't you hate Hitman? No, I don't. I love it.
He loves those movies.
I just really wish that they would put out an actual trailer, because this environment, this rainy kind of like Chinese street or like Hong Kong street or whatever it is, like it looks really cool, like all this neon and stuff.
Yeah, it does look really cool, and with all the lighting and everything, they put a lot of work into this. You can tell by looking at it.
Yeah, I can't wait. It'll be weird if Hitman 3 ends up being my favorite game of 2021, considering it comes out on like January 21st.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Let's see. From there, we also had a trailer for Martha is Dead. Did you watch this?
Why'd you say that name?
Don't start. Don't start. We only have 30 more minutes, and we're gonna end up talking about DC for 6 hours, and somebody in the comments gonna be like, burr, 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 burr. Actually,
no, yeah, I saw this trailer.
Did you see that trailer where Steppenwolf's armor looks like 50% stupider now? This man on little tiny spikes.
It's really stupid.
This is what looks like one of those atmospheric horror games. I don't know. I'm a little.
It's funny because I was originally skimming through it and I was like, oh, I guess it's like puppet based. But then I finally had time to watch it. I was like, oh wait, that's just okay, cool. It's just a framing device, as it turns out.
Yeah, it's actually in the description they talk about that this is like twin sisters, and one of them dies, and then it's like World War II is happening, or World War One.
Is this like
happening.
that Lindsay Lohan movie, like Who Killed Me or whatever?
I don't think so. I think this is not that. I don't think this is not like that Lindsay Lohan movie.
I hope not.
Of course, the first comment on the YouTube video is, "My name was Martha. My mom was named Martha." Like sideways face. So,
Batman triggered.
yeah. Yep. And then let's see. Last up on the trailer front, we got a trailer for Chronos Before the Ashes. Did you actually? Did you like look into this? Did you?
I did not.
Did you watch the trailer?
I didn't get to see.
Okay.
No.
So here's the thing. This is technically in the quote unquote Chronos universe. Apparently, this was an Oculus exclusive game. This is one of those games that Oculus bought and paid for to be an exclusive VR game, and it is being essentially remastered, or not remastered, but they changed it so that you don't have to play it on just the Oculus, and now you're going to be able to play it as a full standalone game. It looks very Soulsian, like in the way that the combat works. It looks very Souls-like. They even say in the description, I'm not making this up, they're just like, blocking, parrying, and dodging. You'll have to learn how to manage these skills if you want to get past the enemies and get to the giant bosses. And then the giant bosses will whoop your ass. So like, I'm not making up the comparison. Like they literally say that. But the thing that's interesting...
It's like a Souls that's dark of some kind.
Right. The thing that's really interesting, though, is that they talk later on in the trailer about like when your character dies, they age. So like you start out young, and then as your character dies, they get older and older and older. And I don't know what happens. I don't know if they like die of old age, or if they have kids, or if there's like a rogue legacy thing. But I don't know. This is kind of interesting to me. I'm kind of fascinated to see what happens with it eventually. And it's actually coming out. It's from Gunfire, and who made Remnant from the Ashes, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that because that fucking symbol thing looked very similar to what they had in that, didn't they?
I see. I thought it was connected to that universe, but then it says like about the prequel. Okay, guys, so it's a prequel to Remnant. It is a prequel to Remnant from the Ashes.
So it is the same thing. That's fucking weird.
Yeah. So it's Gunfire Games, and it's also out like the day after tomorrow when this podcast comes out.
Tuesday.
So like, what? Where the fuck did this come from? I guess sure.
I love one of the top comments. Gunfire Games, no guns.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really strange. It's a real strange one. I highly recommend everybody, especially people who are fans of Gunfire, because they're a very esoteric studio. Like, go check it out because it's real weird looking. Let's see. We got a few more things before we're done with news. We've got news that a new single-player Metro game is in development.
Ooh.
And not only that, but apparently they're working on 4A Games is working on next-gen versions of Metro Exodus for the PS5 and the Series X. So they want to get that up there with the new lighting and stuff. And then apparently they're in the early phases of a new Metro game built from the ground up for the new systems, which is cool. I like Metro. The last one was too long and I got bored, and so I stopped playing it. But I don't know.
Trains.
Maybe the next one won't be. Shadow Complex Remastered works on the PS5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was originally one of them, right?
Mm-hmm. There were like 10 games that wouldn't work on the PlayStation 5 that were PS4 games. Well, apparently Shadow Complex patched their game so that it does work on the PS5. 9 more left to go. Who knows?
You want that Afro Samurai 2.
The only one of these that's worth a damn is Shadwen. The rest of them can all go to hell. I don't understand why Shadwen doesn't work, though. Cuphead's Delicious Last Course DLC has been delayed again.
I forgot that they were making DLC for that.
Yep. It was announced in June of 2018.
Oh, wow.
It was supposed to come out later this year, but has been pushed back to 2021. I never even finished Cuphead, so I'm just like,
I actually never got a chance to play it. I kept meaning to, and they released it finally on everything, but by that point I stopped caring.
yeah. Let's see. In additional delay news, MechWarrior 5 has been delayed, the Steam and GOG and Xbox release, because MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries has been on the Epic Game Store for a while. They were planning on putting it onto Steam and GOG and the Xbox Store this December. Here is another developer who's like, we don't want to get in the way of Cyberpunk. We are moving to spring of next year. We're going to do a bunch more work and enhancements and optimization. We'll see you then.
Outstanding move.
Yeah. I think it's really... I know I complain all the time when other developers try to go toe-to-toe with like huge games. I do think this is a pretty smart move on their part.
100%.
And last but not least, we got some fun stuff. We got some drone footage of Nintendo's theme park. The Nintendo theme park that they're making.
Oh, they're still building that?
Yep, they're still building it. Apparently, and then it looks absolutely fantastic from the air. Like, you consider these drone shots, and you think about what it would be like to be down on the ground in the midst of all these crazy Nintendo things that they've got going on.
It looks great.
Yeah, I wish I could. I wish I could go, but I can't. I also wish that I could get this tiny Capcom retro console. Which is weird. This is a weird one. Japan does these. I don't know why they do these. They're so weird. Okay, so it's a little monitor and a little joystick and 6 buttons. And would you like to guess the games? The game, it has a bunch of different games. Would you like to guess the games that are on it, Michael?
Street Fighter 2.
Okay.
Probably one of the other Street Fighter 2s.
Okay.
I'm guessing Turbo. Based on the color, maybe the Mega Man Power Battle, because that was an arcade game, if I remember correctly.
Okay. There's like 8 more games on there.
Fuck, really? Shit.
Yeah.
I didn't expect there to be that many.
Actually, that's not true. It's less than that. I think it's like 6.
I'm tempted to just say Street Fighter 2 over and over again.
You would be correct. It has Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition,
Oh my
Street
God.
Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, and Mega Man Power Battle, Mega Man 2, the Power Fighters, Mega Man X, Mega Man Soccer, and the Japanese console version of Mega Man and Base.
Soccer, really?
Yep, it's a really fucking weird group of games to put on a thing.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's really strange.
I hate the fact that that Capcom thinks that Street Fighter 2 Champion, Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo are all separate games. I hate the idea that they're like, these are
really
separate.
Stupid.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that. And they're just like, it comes with all these games. All of them are Street Fighter 2. It's like, fuck you guys.
Well, remember that Game Gear where they only had 4 games per Game Gear Micro?
Yeah.
And it was like, why? Why are you doing this? Also, apparently this thing costs around $200, which I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not. No.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't need to spend $200 on all of the Street Fighter 2s.
Well, let's see. You've probably already spent $200 on all of the Street Fighter 2s over the years.
Probably.
So,
the last time I did was that anniversary edition they came out with for the Switch and PS4.
yes, I remember.
I think it's on Xbox as well. Yeah.
And last but not least, that little Super Game & Watch Super Mario thing came out, and apparently somebody has already hacked it to be able to run Doom.
Of course they did.
Now, it runs Doom real bad, like real shittily, and they had to take all the textures off the walls, turn off the sound, and it runs at like 2 frames a second or something like that.
Yeah, that looks about right.
But, you know, the old axiom remains true, Michael. If you can get Doom to run on a thing, people will get Doom to run on a thing.
Yep.
And that is the end of the news. And we still have a few minutes left. So
That's crazy.
let's do some questions. Let's
Yay.
Let's see. I'm going to try to split here equally between oh boy, my windows are all over the place. I'm going to try to split equally here between some chat questions or from some Discord questions and some email questions. We'll start off with this question from this one's specifically about Thanksgiving, so let's not wait for 6 months before answering it. Didn't sign your name. I'm going to call you Blake. Blake says, hey, Jeff and Michael, happy Turkey Day. Hope you had a safe Thanksgiving. My question. It's been a year of many games with big stories and big characters. After the success of God of War, Kratos being a father figure seemed to resonate with you and many players of the game. What characters would you like to see in these types of roles? Someone becoming a strong parent, a surprising mentor, or a newfound friendship? Examples would be like Master Chief teaching a rookie to survive the war, Castlevania with a better attempt at teaching the next generation of monster hunters, or even a more bonding, like goofy father-son movie with Nathan teaching geography locations with his daughter, which leads into hijinks. P.S. Any Thanksgiving leftover recipes you would like to share? And that is from Paul. Paul, I will answer that Thanksgiving leftover question. It is not my recipe, but go on to Binging with Babish and go watch him make Thanksgiving pot pies, where he basically takes like the gravy and the turkey and the stuffing and then like some out of the box pie crust and puts them into a ramekin and then puts all his Thanksgiving stuff in there and makes them into a little pot pie that can be put in the oven and then brought out. I don't know. I'm a big sucker for just Thanksgiving too. I don't ever turn my leftovers into anything else. I basically just heat the leftovers up and eat Thanksgiving dinner as many times as I possibly can before I get sick of it, which I don't do because the turkey runs out ahead of time. Everything okay over there?
Yeah, I was thinking of games, and one came to my mind only because I want to see if it would be doable in any shape, way, or form.
Okay.
Which is a father-son story. No, not even a father story. A father-daughter story of Duke Nukem. I would love to see somebody try to do something with that, because I think it would be hysterical trying to get like the stupid macho dude to try to like connect with a daughter character.
Well, as far as the answer to that question goes, my answer is everyone in every game of all time, like, quit fucking making these games about people and pass it on to the next generation. I love DC so much because they have legacies of heroes where a hero passes the torch on to a new hero. So
they're so much better at it than any of the others.
It's built in. So instead of being like, oh no, there's a new Thor, and everybody's like, bring back old Thor, and they do, DC's like, look, there's a new Green Lantern, and he's like the sixth one since like the old days.
Yeah. There's so many of them, guys.
There've been like 9 Flashes, right? Like nobody gives a shit if they bring in a new Flash. They're like, here's the new Flash.
People were always like, there can't be more than one Spider-Man. I was like, there was like 3 Flashes at one point, and there's been like 6 Green Lanterns. Like, no one fucking cares.
Yeah. So I think that they should pass down. You know what I would really like though? I would really love a story. I would really love a Legend of Zelda game that was. Because I would like a Legend of Zelda game that more directly addresses the cycle of Ganon, with like Zelda and Link's daughter, who has been trained to be a hero by Link since she was a kid. She always wanted to be a hero. And then like a non-Ganon thing that happens and maybe like puts the parents out of commission because they're trying to keep their kids safe. And then the daughter has to like become a hero and like learn all the lessons, instead of just like, here's fucking Link again. Here's Link in his green hat another time. Like, just something different. Like, I'm not even saying like, it's got to be a game that stars Zelda. It could even be a game that stars like a fucking, I don't care, one of the Gorons or something. Like, just, I hate that.
As long as you didn't say Tingle, I'm fine with it.
The thing that gets to me, and I know that I am the outlier with this shit, is that like, I have seen in the course of my life what happens when you just go through endless sequels, endless cycles, and you never evolve. Like, I'm so glad that there is a new protagonist in Yakuza. I'm so glad that they didn't drag Kiryu Kazama back out to do another. He's been in 7.5 fucking games, all right?
That is crazy as shit.
Like, he's a grandpa. The last game had to do with him taking care of his adopted daughter's child whilst doing Yakuza. There was a mini game, for fuck's sake, where you had to bounce the baby and stuff. Quit making him, and like, okay, now there's a new guy, and it's like, great, here's a new guy. He's got the reverse colors, he's got the big floofy hair. He's kind of he's a real emotional guy, as opposed to Kiryu, who's just fucking for
Stoic
7 games. Yeah, like I say, bring it on, man. Like, do new characters. I feel really bad that they wanted to pass the torch on Phoenix Wright to Apollo Justice, right?
Yeah.
And then they drag Phoenix Wright back in because no one wanted anything but there was like 6 Phoenix Wright games before that, right? Like, there's a
No, there's only the 3.
Okay, well, that's still enough.
Apollo Justice was Ace Attorney 4, and then
I don't know. I just like just keep. I think that everybody from Resident Evil should have to be old now, and they should have to be training.
See, yeah, Resident Evil would have been another one of my answers. Like, just make like Chris and Leon and them just kind of old, and they just don't want to deal with this shit anymore. Yeah. And now it's up to like, the president's daughter from 4 is now the protagonist kind of thing. And like, because they kind of did that with 6 when the little girl from Part 2 was one of the protagonists in 6.
Oh, yeah,
that was kind of nice.
And
but,
Wesker's kid.
Yeah, and Wesker had a kid who is now also a protagonist who punches things to death. Like, I was like, that's kind of neat. Like, adding some legacy to this sort of stuff. Like, I would love that. Yeah, like when you mentioned the Zelda things, like, I would like to see what else happens in the world of Hyrule other than the time Link gets reincarnated again. That'd be kind of nice. I'd love to see them bring back Snake again just to train a guy one more time kind of thing or something like that.
Maybe what you make is Metal Gear Rising 2, where Raiden is training his kid to do
cool
stuff, and then like Snake is just like the old he's like the grandpa, the super old man, right? Like, Raiden has gotten old, and Snake is just fucking decrepit at this point.
He's like the colonel in Part 4 kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's got a cane and shit.
Yeah, he's got a hot young wife that dotes on him, and that he stole away from one of your friends. That was such a so weird.
Yeah, it was a weird whole thing.
So weird. They even set that shit up. Like, they could have had Sonny or team up with Raiden's kid. Like, there's a lot of different ways you could go with that stuff. I just don't like it when they make endless sequels with the same characters.
Yeah, no, of course.
Where I was playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I was thinking to myself, like, that's the thing about the Zelda franchise, and I think Final Fantasy is the same way, where like, because those franchises get to just make up a brand new world, they never have to deal with the consequences of the things that they've done and evolve their story. Yeah. Whereas, like, man, I would tell you shit that happens at the end of Yakuza Like a Dragon, and 90% of the people listening to this podcast would not care, and 10% would be like, what? No! And I'd be like, yeah! Can you believe it? So, all of them. My answer is all of them. Like, I want the next God of War game to be you playing as the kid, and you don't even get to play as fucking Kratos. Fucking retire Kratos. Hashtag retire Kratos. I don't care.
Just Atreus all day. And he just calls his dad man.
Well, all that happens when you drag this shit out is it just gets old and tired, right?
That's true, yeah.
So, cut it off when you have a chance. How many fucking seasons of Supernatural are there? Does anybody give a shit about Supernatural anymore?
It finally ended, by the way. It ended like a week or two ago.
What was that, like 13 or something? Everybody says
15.
Like you got
15 seasons.
What do they say? You say you got to stop after season 8?
5. Actually.
5? You got to stop after the first...
5 is when the original showrunner left that show.
So 1/3.
He told the story he set up in the first season in 5 seasons.
Nope.
And then they made 10 more seasons after that.
Man, I tell you what, you look at the world, Michael, people are like...
He's the guy who's working on The Boys, actually. The guy who was the original showrunner. He's the showrunner for The Boys.
Yeah, I think that on a long enough timeline, every franchise turns to garbage. And
that's true.
you can't get away from it.
I'm so glad The Good Place knew when it wanted to end. The same with Gravity Falls. Like, they had a story, and they ended. And thank God for that.
I haven't even watched this week's Mandalorian, but I'm still just like, this season's fine. It's not blowing my socks off. It's fine. It's fine.
This new one's great, by the way.
Okay, well, they've already spoiled it for me because of the fucking trending Twitter hashtags. So thanks for that, fucking Twitter.
Okay. It's got the most, I think, character development for the child I think the show has ever had.
Okay. Let's see. We did get an email from Mauricio, and I haven't read that many Mauricio emails. So Mauricio says, "Sup guys, Mauricio here. So The World Ends With You 2 was announced, and I thought this would never be announced since the port to the iPhone and Switch version of the first game didn't sell very well. But I guess I was wrong, and Square is giving Nomura a chance after all. So, what are some game series that you would like to have a sequel or spin-off?" And then a mini QA. Jeff, from the last week's podcast, you said that you've been hearing the games in the Series X run better than the PS5, but for me, I've been hearing multiple podcasts where it's the opposite since the Xbox SDK kit were rushed and not fully developed for the new console code. Just wanted to ask since last week if you heard anything new. Not a console fanboy or anything, but been hearing all my friends' Series X games run bad with a lot of frame rate issues, and that's from Mauricio. I was saying that. I think I might have just heard some stuff like on some websites, but the thing is that I haven't had any way to check because I'm not buying the same game on both consoles, and I haven't been playing I've been playing Demon Souls. I played the Astro's Playroom, and I've been playing Like a Dragon on the Series X. But like, I haven't yet started playing like Watch Dogs or Valhalla. And I already said I'm not playing Valhalla. I'm not playing a fucking 65-hour Assassin's Creed game. So I don't know. It's very possible from that article that we had that PS5 could be better, could be running better. I don't really know at this point. That was just me parroting stuff I heard on the internet. Game series that you would want to have a sequel or a spin-off?
Oh, it's an easy one. I would love more Castlevania games, but not ones that were in the Lords of Shadow universe. Mm-hmm. I would like a sequel to Shaolin Monks, like real bad. Like because that's both a new spin-off and a sequel. I would fucking kill for another Shaolin Monks.
I take a remake. I take a remake any day of the week.
Oh, remake or hell, that game, the game they wanted to do afterwards, which was a Sub-Zero Scorpion one. Mm-hmm. They were going to call it Fire and Ice, but they went bankrupt before they could ever even think about making it.
Damn, I played the hell out of that, especially when you consider the story of Mortal Kombat 11. One of the best parts is the fucking Sub-Zero and Scorpion buddy cop part where they have to go thrash the cyborg facility. It'd be so good. So good.
They even reference the name of that game, I think, in a few endings. I don't remember if it was in MKX's or in this one where they mentioned Fire and Ice when the two of them ever team up. Because fuck, man, I would have played the shit out of that, and it sucks, that they've never done anything like it again since. Like, as much as I love MK11, man, I would love another fucking Shaolin Monks type game. One of my answers did get a sequel eventually, which was Crash Bandicoot 4.
Oh, there you
go. So I got lucky in that way. I would laugh if Gex got a sequel. That'd be hysterical. See what would happen on that. I would still love another Duke Nukem. As fucking, outdated as hell as that character is, I still wouldn't mind another Duke Nukem.
I'm trying to think of stuff. It's a little hard though. I'm gonna say some weird stuff because most of the mainline entries, like I just got done outlining why like I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. So like there was a thing where people were like, I want Bloodborne 2, and I'm like, I don't. And they're like, I want New Vegas 2, and I'm like, I don't. They're like, I want the Outer Worlds 2, and I'm like, nope, not that either. I want them to make brand new shit and not just get locked into making these fucking franchises forever. Mortal Kombat is definitely on that list though, because because 11 is such a good, like, they managed to keep it fresh. They kept it fresh,
Well, that's the thing, is they're not afraid to do weird shit with their timeline. Like, because every time you look at the timeline of a game or of any games, there's always this very tight thing, and then if something weird happens, there's outrage, and then they listen to the people. Whereas Mortal Kombat's like, I don't give a fuck what you want. We're doing this weird ass shit that's going on, and we're going in. like it's crazy. Like hell, this last one ended with Liu Kang becoming a god, kind of thing. Like that's fucking insane.
The last game fixed the Mortal Kombat continuity. Do you realize? And obviously continuity has a K when you spell it. But like, do you realize what a fucking feat that was? That they literally managed to make a story that fixed the fucking continuity of Mortal Kombat to the point where it all works now. Like,
it's crazy.
It's
absolutely fucking insane.
Yes.
Like all you have to be like the fact that the Mortal Kombat's willing to continue their story.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing I hate about most fighting game stories is that they don't know how to continue their story at all. Like specifically Street Fighter. The fact that fucking every game after Street Fighter 3 is a prequel to Street Fighter 2 or just a sequel to Street Fighter 2 means they're still Street Fighter 2s. Like all they do is keep making Street Fighter 2 and then adding another number to it. It's like, guys, just fucking move on from it. Yeah, like make an actual like sequel to 3. Like 5 is the closest they've gotten because finally it's directly before 3 finally. But I really want to know what happens afterwards. Where Mortal Kombat was like, hey, you know the main character of this thing? He's dead now. It's like, cool. And it's like, oh, you remember him now? He's a zombie now. It's like, okay, that's weird. And it's like, hey, you remember that guy now? Now there's an alternate timeline where Raiden accidentally murders the shit out of him. It's like, what is happening? And they're like, who gives a fuck? Are you in or you're not? I'm like, well, I guess I'm in. Kind of thing.
I absolutely love the DLC for that game where it's like, Shang Tsung is back. He's good this time, you guys. And everybody's like, no, he's not. Like, I know you will betray us, Shang Tsung. And he's like, no, I will never betray you. And then of fucking course he does. Like, I
like the idea that every time he's like, I'll never betray you, he just has his hand behind him, like when he crosses his fingers.
Yeah.
He's like, it didn't count that time, Liu Kang. He just pulls his hand out.
I would like to see, let's see, a spinoff or a sequel. The problem is that there's most of the stuff that I want to get sequels, like fucking. Okay. I got it. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Super Metroid 2.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Like, you want to talk about Street Fighter 3 not getting any continuity love. Like, they keep doing all the Metroid Primes were like prequels, right? Like,
I think so. It's been a while since I played any of them.
Fusion, I guess, was a sequel.
Yeah, Fusion I think is the actual like end of the timeline, I think.
And Fusion was the most creative Metroid that had, in my opinion, it's been out in years.
Because that was the one where like something takes over the suit and it's like hunting you. That shit is so intense.
Yeah, the X Parasite, and then you get the new X suit that has all the different weird powers. But then the X Parasite animates the old suit and keeps fucking coming after you. Yeah, it's great.
That thing was terrifying. It was like Mr. X kind of thing, like in Resident Evil, but like as you essentially, and it's just absolutely horrifying because of it.
Yeah. So I would love to see an actual non 3D sequel to 2D Metroid, or even a spinoff that is not that stupid 3DS bounty hunters.
Oh yeah,
first person shooter.
I already forgot what the name of it was.
I've always wanted them to set other stories in the Metroid universe that aren't just Samus fights space pirates, right? Like, there's obviously, she's a bounty hunter. What if we follow a different bounty hunter? What if we made a game about Samus's rival bounty hunter who fucking always gets her bounty snaked by that fucking bitch Aaron every time she's getting close, you know?
Fuck, man. Speaking of bounty hunters that don't get sequels, F-Zero.
That's
the
true.
GameCube one was the last fucking F-Zero game, and I'm shocked they've never made another one since.
I had that idea. I think Matt and I had that idea. We want to make a Zelda that was set in the far future, right? Since it's a cycle, and then then they have to hook up with the Star Fox team to go to different planets, and then one planet they run into Samus Aran, bounty hunting Metroider, and then you just connect all the Nintendo shit in the future, and then it's all there.
I'd be cool with that.
It's all there.
Sad Captain Falcon in the mix.
Yep. Nintendo
a frozen Mario.
Let's see. Let's do a few Discord questions, and we'll get out of here. Zeechling says, "Hello, Jeff and Michael. Is it just me, or are there just not that many impressive Black Friday deals going on? I was hoping to get some PC components, but every early Black Friday or Black November sale I've seen has been incredibly lackluster. I'm hoping that stores are still holding off the good deals until actual Black Friday for some reason, but I remember not being very impressed last year. Do you think Black Friday deals have gotten worse, or am I just too picky? Thanks for all the great content." I don't really do very much Black Friday shopping, so it's hard for me to say.
He's actually not wrong. A lot of Black Friday deals, I think, have gotten a little worse over time. Because I worked retail for a long time, and I remember when Black Friday deals were like the things you would literally fight people to the death for, kind of thing. Now it's just like that thing's like maybe $10 off, kind of thing, like just like dumb shit. Because Martin does it all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember one year I was working at the Target, and he was like, yeah, like none of this stuff is really all that interesting. Like the interesting stuff was the doorbusters, and that was it. Like there was nothing else. And I remember even a point where like I remember being able to get games really cheap during Black Friday, and there was one Black Friday where there was just like nothing on sale game-wise. Like we had no real bundles for, the consoles, that kind of thing. And like it seems to vary every year, because there was one year where there was some really cool stuff, and then there was another year where there was just jack shit. Like I think the things that get the best Black Friday deals for some reason are DVD sets. Like a lot of times those drop down to like really cheap, and the same with just like new movies and stuff. But overall, like other stuff, I don't know, it seems to vary every year.
There's a lot of good game deals this Black Friday, like at Target specifically, like a bunch of, Link's Awakening is $40. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is $25. Star Wars Squadrons is $25. There's some stuff in here that's pretty solid. There was one that I remember I was reading the deals, and I was just like, what? I think it was something that came out like earlier this month or like last month, and it was half price, and I was just like, fuck you, I spent fucking $60 whole on that.
Avengers is one that was half off. That one's been like half off all over the place right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that one or not, but it has been happening.
I don't think so. But in any case, I mean, I don't really have a very good answer for this, mostly because I started to realize that the amount of effort that it took to just look and buy stuff on Black Friday, fuck a bunch of that. Like I could just it was worth the extra $10 to not have to fight for stuff because of the doorbuster stuff, right? Like the only way to get the really good deals was to go there in person and get a good deal. And it was like, I'll pay like an extra $50 or $60. Just no. Also, I think it's worth. I mean, I think that the other problem this year is that the things that people want are not available. PlayStation 5s, Series X's, the GeForce 3000 series cards, the AMD, the ATI, the Radeon, the new batch of Radeon cards, those are all sold out. Like they really blew their load early by putting some of the stuff up early in November, and so that shit is fucking gone. But like this year, we've had problems getting a Nintendo Switch. Like the stock of Nintendo Switches has sold out constantly. So I think we're in a place where, like, I don't know, you got to do so much of this stuff online. When it's all online, then it's susceptible to scalpers and such. I think it's an entirely different situation, and that they sold out on all the stuff that you would really want way ahead of time. So,
yeah, there were still some deals out there. I know the same Switch bundle that I got when I got my Switch originally was out there again. But yeah, it's tricky. It's really, really tricky out there right now.
Yeah. Let's see. Kate Josie writes in and says, "Hey, Jeff and Michael, hypothetical question. Ben & Jerry's comes to you for a new flavor of ice cream. You have to use flavors that are inspired by your real life. What do you make and why? It could be a tasty ice cream or disgusting ice cream. They just want the famous Rage Select flavor. Hope this question is fun. If not, I'll try harder next time. Thank you guys so much." And that's from Kate Josie. Let's see. If it was Jeff, it would be what? Like cigarettes and beer?
Probably, yeah.
And coffee?
The nicotine beer coffee mixture.
I bet you could probably make that work if you had like a coffee, like an Irish coffee, like a coffee with like rum or something.
You could, as long as the nicotine part wasn't part of it.
I think you could have some smoky tobacco notes in with your coffee and rum, and it would probably be okay as long as you added enough sugar. Not like burned, not like you just exhaled cigarette smoke onto your Ben & Jerry's. I exhale it to everyone before we send it out. Like, not like that, but, you know.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair, yeah.
Like, is like tobacco by itself has a relatively interesting aroma. People, they've made like, you know, fucking beard balms that are like tobacco and leather, you know, not cigarette smoke and fucking, you know, stale beer, but I'm trying to think. I don't do that many sweets. Maybe if you just like put Taco Bell in a blender and then made it into ice cream and just be like.
See, that was the other thing I was thinking of, like the gordita fucking. I don't even know what you would call it.
Gordita ice cream.
Yeah, it would be the Loco Steve Gordita ice cream mix.
The Gordo Gordita.
Yeah, exactly. Loco Steve Gordo Gordita.
I mean, I think that we could probably do something. All right. So here, I'll make you an actual Rage Select ice cream. Would you like an actual Rage Select ice cream?
Go for it.
We're going to start with the orange ice cream, like the push pop ice cream, because one, I actually like push pops. I like the orange. The Rage Select logo is orange, right? Rage Select logo has fire in it, so we're going to take the push pop orange sherbet ice cream, and then we're going to put a bunch of like red hot candies in it. So when you're eating this kind of citrusy thing, you get this like voom of like cinnamon like right up into your thing, and then we're going to have like a haze through the middle of just like white vanilla ice cream ripple, because Jeff is the whitest motherfucker on the planet. So there you go. There's Rage Select ice cream. It's called the Funky Jeff thing. Funky Jeff time. In other news, that's what it's called. In other news, Jeff has ice cream. That's it. Or the classiest ice cream on the internet. That's the name of the flavor.
That would actually be a pretty good name.
Thank you. This is the actual Rage Select ice cream that somebody would actually put in their mouth and not just like throw up on the ground. Because, you know, if it was an actual Rage Select ice cream and I let Jason design it, it would be an empty pint of ice cream container with like some stale beer and cigarette butts at the bottom and just a crumpled up Taco Bell wrapper. That would be the ice cream that we put out.
That sounds right, yeah.
Do you eat ice cream? Do you do sweets?
Yeah, I do. I eat ice cream. I'm mostly a big fan of Dutch chocolate ice cream, or just chocolate ice cream in general. I'm also a big fan of basically chocolate anything, really, like the chocolate sundae stuff.
I'm curious because of your your food stuff. Like, do you do like chocolate with like or like Rocky Road, right? Do you do Rocky Road with the marshmallows and stuff in it? Is that okay?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
It's very rare, Rocky Road wise. I don't eat anything with nuts in it.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of
caramel, butterscotch.
Well, the caramel ones sometimes, but honestly it tends to revolve mostly around either vanilla or chocolate. Like the vanilla swirl ones, where it's like vanilla with the chocolate swirl kind of thing mixed into it, or cookies and cream. I'm a big fan of the cookies and cream one.
Okay.
The Superman ice cream, or whatever they're called nowadays, because I know they constantly change the name of it.
It's like where it's
a big
like
fan
a
of that.
little Superman with like a gumball face. And
it's like an ice cream that's just like it's red, blue, and yellow. Like, and it's just sort of like it's just big old thing.
What flavors? Lemon, cherry.
I forgot. They used. That's the thing, is it seems to change depending on who you get it from sometimes. But I always remember it being really good. It's a lot harder to find nowadays because of it. But
red,
I used to eat it all the time.
Okay. House of Flavors. Blue Moon, cherry, and lemon ice cream. Superman in a cone.
It seems to vary for some places, but yeah, I used to eat that all the time. At least when you can find it, because like I said, it's a lot harder to find nowadays because of it. But yeah, those tend to be what I
what's
eat
your
for the most part.
What's your signature ice cream? What's your signature ice cream, Michael? Is it a
I guess
Spider-Man flavored ice cream?
It would probably be something, Spider-Man colored with some fruit punch flavoring to it.
Okay.
As well as
like a red fruit, like a fruit mixed fruit base, a red base, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Probably some
with tortillas.
Probably some chocolate taste. Yeah, some tortilla taste. So it has to be homemade flour, tortilla taste, or else it's useless. And maybe some way to add some pizza flavoring to it somehow.
Sounds good. We can have you design like when we have the whole range of ice creams. You could design the asshole Spider-Man flavor. It'll just be called asshole Spider-Man. It'll be like mostly fruit punch, but then also tortillas on the bottom.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
The Kilometer Sanchez one will just be that, but chocolate.
All right, and that is enough. It is 11 o'clock on a Friday night, and I have a lot of beer to drink, so we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the Rage Select podcast. If you don't already know it, go check out Michael over at oneofus.net. He does the movie stuff, does it on oneofus.net. You can go over there, oneofus.net. Check it out. You can check out your email inbox and then open a new message and say mail@rageselect.com, and that's the email address where you can write in a question. And who knows, maybe if the news eases up and Jeff doesn't open 600 tabs, we'll have a good news show from here on out. Who can say?